Hello, friends and fellow board gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Board Games with Rob. Today, I'm going to be giving you a overview and my thoughts on a fairly new game. Actually, it's Devir's first game of the year, as far as I'm aware, and that game is Quorum. Quorum is a 2 to 4 player. It says it plays in about 45 minutes. That's kind of I mean, it can get depending upon the player count. It's a fast game. It can take that's probably a maximum if you're at full player count. It'll go fast. Board Game Geek has it rated 7.7. There's only 108 ratings, so that's not a lot, but it's probably in the ballpark for what I'm thinking for the game. They say it's a hand management set collection game, and that's pretty much on par for what it is. So let's go down to the table. We'll take a look at what it's about, and then I will give you some thoughts on what I feel about the game. So I've got this set up for a two-player game. Now, it takes up a little bit more real estate than what I've got room to show you. Essentially, you're going to have this area of the map that has the point track, and it has these different areas in here that you're vying for control over. You're going to have a deck of cards, and then with four laid out. And what I've got here is a sample hand. Everybody's going to have four cards in their hand. And folks, all you're going to be doing is drawing a card and then playing a card to a tableau. You'll do this over 12 turns, and then at the end of that 12th turn, you'll score your points. So let's give you an example of a sample turn with, again, this being my hand. There's four different types of cards that you're going to be playing, and I'll talk about how they all score here at the end of once I've talked about how a turn will go, because that's the meat of the game is how it scores and how you're going to be playing to your tableau. And essentially, there's two different main types of scoring. There's your score track along the different districts on the board, as well as the four types of cards and how they score. You'll take those two scores, add them together, and that will give you your total. So let's say that this is my tableau that I have out, and these are my hands. So I mean, at the end of the day, all I'm going to want to do is take a card from the tableau, and in this case, I might take the blue card. I've already got two blue cards, and then I will play a card. Now, maybe I don't want to give in to the fact that I'm collecting blue cards, so maybe I'll like pretend I'm taking that into, well, I'll take that into my hand and then play this card in front of me. Now, the card's going to give you a couple different things here. It's going to show you, in this case, it's a blue card. It shows you different resources, but notice here the two and the district. What that's going to represent is one of these districts, and if I'm blue, then I will go up 2 points on the brown district there, and it's Macedonia. The back of the card will always represent the district that you'll be moving on the front side of the card. And then you would simply refresh from the deck another card, and then it's the other player's turn. So they would then take a card and they would look at the district on it. Let's move that in there, and that's one for Asia. So they would find Asia and they would go up one on the Asia track. Now you're going to keep doing that and building a tableau. Let's say it's my turn, and again, this is my hand. I'm looking over here. Maybe I want this card. So I'll look at here and it shows three in Hispania. Hispania. So I would go up three. Hispania, I would then play a card to my tableau. Let's say that, oh, then I played, oh, I'll play Hispania to my tableau. And I'm not going to do anything intrinsically when I play things to my tableau. I'm just setting up the points for the end of the game and the 12 cards that I want to score at the end of the game. The only tricky thing that may come out over time are these God cards. And God cards, the back will look like this. That'll signify that a God card is out. And when that comes out onto the tableau, you won't reveal it. In fact, one just popped up right here. You would just keep it face down. Then if the player wanted to draw that card, they would draw it, and it's going to give you some information here. It's going to allow you in the middle to go up one victory or 1 point on any of the districts, and then you're going to affect the two districts on the left and the right of that. And in this case, as you can see, it's +1 and +1. Here's another card that shows -1 and +1. This is Venus. So I would just pick one of the tracks. Maybe I'd pick this one here, and I would go up 1 influence on that track. And then see these points? What I would do, now they come with two different coins. They're double-sided. One of the coins comes with 1 and 2, and then these off to the side have 3 and 4. So if I was to up both of the tracks, I would up that 3, and then the other one on the other side of it, I would also make 3. So in essence, I am going up a favor on one of the tracks, and then I'm affecting the points that each one on the other side is going to be worth. Now, why does that matter? Well, one of the easy things to take into account is you're going to, at the end of the game, after the 12 cards have been placed, is you're going to look at who is the highest, and then whatever that district is, if you look at this, each one's going to score you a little differently. What they'll do, for example, this one, you're going to be scoring on pots for the amount of pots that you have on cards. On this track, um, it'll be your intrigue cards times an X. X is the value of the coin that you have in that particular region. And each one of these is going to score a little bit differently. So in this case, it's the amount of column cards that you have, and so on and so forth. What you'll do is you'll multiply that by whatever the value of the coin is. Now, and whoever is the highest on the track will score that. The one who is second highest will take 1 away from that number, and in this case, 1 minus 2 would be 1, and then they would score 1 times the amount of cards that they have with that particular icon, and thus forward. So you can see where playing the God cards is going to have a lot of influence on how you score different provinces. You might be the highest one up on a particular track, and so maybe you want to influence this one to, take it up to a 4, or maybe you know that you're not going to win it, and you want to take that down to maybe a 2, or maybe even a 1, because 1 minus 1 is 0, and whoever's in second place then would score 0 of those particular cards. So that's the one way to score, is you'll look at each of the positions on the victory tracks and count those up. The other way that you'll score is by the cards in your tableau, and there's 4 different types of cards. You will have trade cards, which will have a variety of different goods icons on them. I'm showing you a couple examples, and so in this case, you would tally up all the goods that you had on all of your cards, and it's a good thing that this game has a really nice player aid. So in this case, you would tally up those trade goods, and you would get 2 points from any 2 products that are the same icon, or 3 of the same type would get you 4 points, or 4 would get you 6. And you would tally all of those different goods up on all of your blue cards, total them up, and that would be your score from the trade cards. Another type of card that you're going to have are intrigue cards. And intrigue cards are these yellow cards. And notice that each of the cards, or all of your cards, are going to have this value in a shield at the top left of the corner. That will the intrigue cards are going to look at any card. It doesn't matter if it itself is an intrigue card. It could be, in this case, it's a military card, or a card of any other type. As long as it has the 3 in the shield, you will count up all the cards with 3 in the shield times the amount of the intrigue cards that you have, and that's the amount of points that you will score for intrigue. Likewise, architect cards, those are the brown cards. You will look at all of those, and what you're looking for in this case is different symbols. Notice here you have like a Colosseum, or well, I call that a coliseum, but that's really not, this is a coliseum. You look at the different icons, and depending upon how many different types, and there's 6 different types, if you have all 6 different types, then you'll score 24 points on down to just 1 point for if you have only one of that unique that image. So you can have multiple of the same image, but again, it's only counting 6 unique images for the architecture cards. So the last one that will score are military cards. And if you look, well, all the cards have shield values, but they're going to count and look at the value in that shield. In this case, I've got a 1 and a 2. For every pair of consecutive shield values that you have, you'll score for 5 points, and each one will score once. So if I had, for example, 2 2s and a 1, I couldn't score the one with this 2 and then the one with the other 2. I'd have to have a separate 2 in order to score that. So you'll score again 5 points for each consecutive pair. You'll total all of that up, and then your grand total will be, you'll add that up with your points that you scored on the tracks of each of the districts, and the one with the highest amount of points will win. So what do I think about this game? It's a good first entry into the year for Devir. It's definitely a small box. It plays in a small amount of time. It's not one of their heavy Euros that they have had in the past, like White Castle or Red Cathedral with a ton of different components. This was unique to me. It's just a card game with a little bit of victory point tracks on to go up, and combining cards and building a little bit of a tableau. It was fun. The quality of the components are good. I mean, they're not nothing super, but they're, really nice wooden small components. The cardboard's really thick on the tracks and on the center board. The cards are really nice quality. They are I don't know that they're linen finish, but they're really sturdy, and I just happen to sleeve all of my cards. So the components are great. I have a really good time playing it, and it plays very short. So and it doesn't take a lot of time to teach this to somebody. So it's something that in between games I can get to the table, and it's something that gamers will want to get into. And it's not like a light filler game by any means. I would rate this a 7. It's not something that I would feature on a game night. It's something that, if I wanted to kind of whet my appetite before getting to a bigger game or play in between 2 bigger games, it's something that I would pull out and enjoy, kind of decompress from like a heavyweight game, and something that, if people don't know how to play, that I can teach very, very quick, and get to the table and have fun playing. So yeah, that's Quorum from Devir. I want to thank everybody for tuning into my video. I'd ask that if you liked it, please subscribe, like, and do all the fun things that you can do with YouTube. And most of all, have fun gaming. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.